flag, pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have coffee to go with this meeting?
Did you make any?
No. No coffee. Did you make coffee? Well, that's your job. Okay. Make sure it's decaf. We don't want much free. Yeah, I want to that.
All right, this meeting will be audio taped as well as video taped by my colleague in the audience. Before I get to public comment, I just want to have a comment of my own here. I'd like to thank Mayor-elect Jim Zabisky, Council-elect Bob Vineski, and Council-elect Henry Morse for our next year's Wkcm mayor and council. And on top of that, I'd also like to thank Bernie Bowser Sr. for the decades of volunteer work at Wkcm, not only in council, but in general. Michelle Cogley, who diligently worked on the new building and the finances associated with that. And I'd also like to thank our prior mayor as of next year, Bernie Bowser Jr., who is going to be replaced by Jim Zabisky. He's not here. Does anyone want to say anything? Council? I mean, I thank you guys 1,000 times over for everything you've done. You know, little can be said, you know.
I would like to thank Bernie specifically because 42 years of services to this community deserves a round of applause, in my opinion, because there isn't anyone in this room that can match that. And when you have a problem, if you had an issue with your house, you had an issue with water, you had a problem with whatever, the first person most people in this town call is Bernie. So, Mr. Bowser, from my heart, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I too would like to compliment Bernie Sr. on all his years of dedication to this borough and all of his good work. Not only on the borough, the street department, the borough, the council, the fire department. I have a scanner. When that fire whistle goes off, the first voice I've ever heard is Bernie. He's the first to respond all of these years. And he's never let down on this dedication. And I think it's really an injustice that he has not been really elected. Michelle, she's really a smart girl, and she has really done well as a community. And I have been, it's been a privilege serving with him, but
Anyone else?
I too would like to thank Bernie Sr. for all his years of service. I know it was just past week. And I think that Wkcm Borough Council, the new building, had some questions and needed some answers. And by the time I got off work, I was there. I don't know how long he was there. It was to be taken care of by the time I got there. And that's the kind of stuff I'm going to see. So I appreciate it.
I would also like to take a second to and wish the new members of council best of luck. We know that you have the best interests of this community in your deepest heart and intentions, and the best of luck to you all.
That's it, then we'll move on to public comment period. Mike Foley,
Okay.
Butler Road.
Yeah, I just wanted about the curbs that were going to be installed up behind, well, not curbs, excuse me, but for the runoff with the water up on Nixon Avenue?
Yeah, nothing yet.
Okay, I mean, because,
I mean, we have to have money allocated first of all for that, and there was no money left over from our liquid fuels in our street paving budget this year, but I just wanted to bring it up to make sure everybody knew it's gonna be a problem, maybe next year we can allocate funds for that.
okay, because I mean,
Oh, I know, I witnessed it firsthand.
yes, it's gonna be major. And also, I did call Nancy Capone about a tree. And Nancy, I thank you for looking into it. And I also went to Mrs. B tonight and talked to her about it, and she was unaware of the situation, and she's gonna look into
I
it.
talked to Dee, and I will give a full report when it's my turn.
Okay.
Tonight.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Jim Sabisky, Southern Avenue. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody or bring up an old wounds here, but as far as this payroll tax, interest and penalty, it's brought up here about 2 months ago that it wasn't a very big price. Well, our secretary compiled a report for me under the right to know. Like I say, I'm not trying to embarrass her. The penalty was a little over $1,700. It wasn't a small amount.
Compared to 25,000, that is. Am
And
I not correct, Mr. Siski? Compared to $25,000, that is a smaller
well,
amount.
like I said, I'm not here to argue.
I understand, I'm just
I'm here to ask why you council members expect her to pay part of the fine.
We didn't expect her, she did that on her own. We were not pleased that she did that.
She told us after the fact.
That's right.
But
She told us
still,
after the fact.
I mean, you're all in this together, and it shouldn't be on her shoulders to pay part of the fine.
And it's not. We were waiting until everything was finished to reimburse her. That conversation has been had.
Will you make the motion now to reimburse her the $535.18?
When it comes up, yes, when it comes up for new business, or old business, excuse me.
Thank you.
But we haven't had a chance to discuss it as a board.
This is the public comment, I'm just making a comment.
I understand, Mr. Siski.
Like I said, I'm not trying to embarrass her or anybody else,
Understood.
but I don't think it's
Understood.
her responsibility to
It's
shoulder
not.
this.
We totally agree.
Any other public comment? I can see it in the end, but I can't see the.
Don't look so disappointed, but, to follow up on what Jim just said, the $25,000 number that was put out there, Michelle,
Incorrectly.
was the taxes and estimated penalty. Taxes.
That is correct, Carol, but what hit the media was it was.
No,
gonna be
it said
25
taxes.
We already went through this, it was miscommunication between the media and us.
Okay, well, but I guess my issue is, first of all, we never said that the penalties were gonna be 25,000. And my other issue with this is, I don't believe the taxpayers of the borough should have to pay that because of whatever the issue is that the taxes didn't get paid. I don't think that the taxpayers of the borough should have that burden put on them. I think it should be council. I think council.
Or Carly.
Council, my opinion, it should be council and Carly, or specifically Carly and Michelle.
Well,
That's my
we'll
comment.
discuss it under finances in an executive session.
Carol, let me ask you a question. When you worked for an employer, you never ever made a mistake. If your work performance, if you go back to all of your employee reviews, have they been perfect? Have you never made a mistake with an employer that cost them money?
No, but whenever I'm hired to do a job,
That's a question. I don't care. I just asked a yes or no question. Did you ever make a mistake? that
oh
cost
yes,
them
I've
money?
made a mistake.
Okay, and what did your employer do? Did they make you pay out of pocket every time?
I never made a financial mistake. But it's
But
to the fact.
mistakes do
it's-
cost money.
Excuse me, but it's my comment time. When she was asked, the previous year when we all talked about QuickBooks, and we said, Carly said she'd never used QuickBooks. We said we would help her get it set up. QuickBooks is very easy to use if it's set up right. If it's not set up, it's a bugger. And when she started doing payroll in-house, she told us, the auditors, that she asked you about it, and you said you didn't know how to do the taxes either, and you told her she was not allowed to call us to help.
No, that isn't even true.
Yes.
First of all, I would never tell her that. Secondly,
Okay,
that is a
all
bold-faced lie.
right. Okay, it's gonna be he said, she said, then this is gonna be done. What's your final comment on it then?
I just don't think the taxpayers should have to bear that
Okay.
burden for that error.
Thank you for your comment.
And my other, how close to budget are we? I realize this is the 3rd or 4th of December, but how close to budget are we for 2013 from how we budgeted things?
I don't have that knowledge off the top of my head, nor do I have it on me. If you want to submit a right to know request, I can.
No, I'm just,
prepare a report.
like, did things kind of flow out okay, or?
Yeah, we didn't have anything majorly out of whack aside from the payroll taxes, but, yeah.
Okay.
I have one more comment that I'd like to add. The comment that you made whenever this first came to light back in May, Carol, you said that it was misappropriation of funds. Misappropriation of funds implies that someone intentionally moved money that shouldn't have been moved and didn't have permission to do that, and that is not what occurred. I
That
cannot
quote
sign,
was
hold
from
on,
the
this is my
IRS.
comment time. I cannot sign checks, I cannot move money, I can't authorize payments of any kind. There was no misappropriation of funds by our secretary. She has more integrity in her little pinky than most people I know. So let me tell you something. I expect an apology for that statement from me and Carly, because that was inappropriate, and that was a bold-faced lie. And that wasn't the first lie you've told.
Oh, real?
Yes.
Well, that was actually told to me by the lady from the IRS when I called the IRS.
That's funny, because I called the IRS, and that's not what they told me. So, I guess
I
that's
can
what
get
you
the name
talk
of the
to.
person that I talked to.
That would be good.
but I
I'd like to
wasn't
speak to them.
Yeah,
That
well.
really doesn't matter, Joe. You're bringing these statements up in public, and now you're saying you don't really know? I mean,
I don't know the lady's name at the IRS that I talked
The
to.
fact of the matter is there has been stories told. There's been fluctuations, there's been stuff put in the paper that's not absolutely true.
That's right.
And it's a shame that we as council have to put up with that kind of
Well, it's a
nonsense.
shame what the taxpayers have to put up
Like I
with.
said, it was mistakes
hidden
were made,
items.
and we admitted a mistake. And it's happened before because when we talked to the IRS, they said that we're not the first municipality that's done that.
Oh, probably not.
Okay, well, it's not like this is like shame on you
It's
guys.
not a criminal act, and that's how you make it sound. And it was never, ever that way.
It's almost embarrassing. We have to put up with a constant rate from that kind of stuff. It's not absolutely true, what you're saying.
And as you've said in the past, when we have work and we have lives and we're volunteering our time for the auditor, well, so are we. We're doing the best we can. And if what we do is not fine, is not good enough, that's completely understandable. I have no qualm about that. But what I do have a qualm with is people trashing my reputation, trashing Carly's reputation with erroneous comments. So
It wasn't
that's,
erroneous.
well, it was.
And actually, right or wrong, it will never go off of people's minds that they have been accused of these things. And it's actually defamation of character. And they should pursue that issue as far as I'm concerned.
That's your opinion.
It is my opinion, yes.
Any other comments? This time we'll call executive session on finance and building.
What kind of pie you want? Cream or